In this lesson, we're going to look at the basic steps for setting up a basic WordPress theme from scratch. To set up our theme, we're going to start off by adding in some dummy content from wptest.io. You may have noticed that in the examples I was showing, I had a bunch of dummy content loaded on the site, and I'll show you where I got that and how to load it up, just so that when we start building out a bunch of different pages and posts and template files, we have some content there to look at. The other thing we're going to do is create a portfolio custom post type. I'm using the plugin CPT UI or custom post types UI. You could set them up however you want, but we do need some custom post types in there for some of the templates we'll build as well. So that's just setting up the content in our theme or in our WordPress install itself. Then we get into the actual stuff for creating the theme, and first we're going to create a WP Hierarchy theme folder. This is going to be kind of the namespace or name for our theme. And then inside of that, we'll create a style.css, functions.php, and index.php file. These will be blank to start off, but these are the core files that you need in a theme, so we'll just go ahead and throw them in there to start. The other thing we're going to add is a file called screenshot.png, and this will be the image that is used to identify our theme inside of the theme area, and if somebody was looking for it in the WordPress.org listing, then they could see that image as well associated with it. So we'll get all of that set up, and then we'll be able to start coding our theme. All right, so we're going to start over here at wptest.io, and what this is a file that you could download that will give you a bunch of dummy data in WordPress. Now this is useful for people who are designing themes because it will give you a whole bunch of different type of posts and pages and HTML, and you could check to see, hey, does my theme really support all of this? And as we go through our theme and build it out, we'll see, oh, we really do have to account for some different things that we wouldn't think of normally. So really helpful data. Come over here, download this, and then inside of WordPress under Tools Import, you can install and run the WordPress importer. Simply upload that file that we grabbed from wptest.io and you are good to go. I'd go ahead and download and import all the media from it as well, so that in your media section you'll have a bunch of content. So once you have that set up, go ahead and install the plugin Custom Post Types UI, or if you're familiar with another way of setting up post types, you could do that. And inside of Custom Post Types UI, we're going to add a new post type. I've actually already got it set up so I could show you the features here that you'll want to zoom in. So we've got the slug is portfolio, plural name portfolio, singular name project. You're going to want to enter in a post type description here, as well as a menu name. We'll call it portfolio. So nothing really custom beyond that, I don't think. Here are the settings that I have, all stacked to true, exclude from search false, hierarchical false. We're not really going to get too into post types at this point, but these are the settings that I have for it. So go ahead and set up that custom post type, and then inside of it, go ahead and add some data. Now, here's how I have it set up. You could see that I've got a title, main content, feature, image, and then down below I also have some custom fields. We're entering in the URL of where the portfolio is, and then a little excerpt to display as well. So to do that, we're going to need to use Advanced Custom Fields, which is a really great plugin for setting up custom fields. If you know another way to do this or have another preference, that's fine, but my examples are going to be using that. Then we could come down into custom fields, and I have some custom fields set up. I'm calling these project fields, and you could see that really all we're doing is the URL field, and that's just simply a text area, and I'm saying it's required, putting in a little placeholder text, and no formatting, because we want to get that link raw without it actually being converted into a link or something unexpected like that. And then since we already have our post type set up, we could set post type is equal to portfolio from our dropdown here, and we are good to go. That should show up. And once you have all that configured, you could go ahead and add a few portfolio items. Again, these won't be really showing up in our theme until we get to the point where we start coding this out, but we're going to get everything set up behind the scenes first. So that covers all of the content. Now let's switch over and look at setting up the actual theme files themselves. Okay, so I'm starting off here in my themes folder in my local setup. So I've got my WP Dev site that I've been running inside of public, inside WP Content Themes. This is where we want to create a new directory, and we're going to call it WP Hierarchy. So WP H-I-E-R-A. You're going to get really good at spelling the word hierarchy. Okay, so once we have that set up, then I'm just going to drag that into Atom, and I could toggle with Command / the project folder open and close. I've also got this little here. You may be working in a different editor, so this might look a little bit different. But what is going to be the same is that you should have an empty project folder. And now we can begin simply adding some files to it. I'm going to start by saving this into my WP Hierarchy folder and just naming it style.css. So style.css will automatically be picked up by WordPress and loaded as the main style sheet. So we'll come back to looking at what needs to go in here because it is a little bit custom what's going on, but we should have that at the root of our folder here. So next one we need is our functions.php, and we'll leave this blank, but I'm just going to go ahead in the editor. You could type PHP tab, and that will give us a PHP block. So let's zoom in, get that a little bit nicer there. Okay, so we'll leave the rest blank, but this is going to be our functions.php file. Next up, I'm going to create my index.php file, and this will serve as the ultimate fallback for all of my other files in case another file is missing. So this is going to have a combination of some HTML and some PHP in it. I'm going to go ahead and leave it blank for now. It should show up later when we come back to looking at it in depth, and then we'll really understand what goes in here. So that's all of the files that we need inside of our code editor here. So we could come back over into our folder, and now you've got to download the screenshot.png file, and you could drag and drop that in there or copy and paste it in there as well. And this is also automatically detected by WordPress. You could pick a different one. The size, WordPress changes it from time to time, but it's 1200 by 900 pixels, especially for HD screens and larger things. Usually it shows up a little bit smaller, but that is the final stage. Now we have basically everything we need for our theme. And if we come into our theme section, appearance themes, we could see, okay, we actually see our screenshot here. We see the name of it. We're not really getting any theme details at this point because we haven't added them in. We'll look at how to do that, but we can actually activate our theme. And if we go and check it out, it's a completely blank page. Any page you try to visit is going to be blank because that index.php file is blank. So now that we have everything set up, what I'm going to do is suggest that you repeat this process on your own. Go ahead and set this up on your own, but also create a different WordPress install with a different name and create a second theme there. So we're going to build a theme together in this section, but at the same time, I want you to be building your own custom theme. Now, you could design this around a project of your choice, or just make something up, or kind of do the exact same thing we're doing with just slightly different styling and tweaks here and there as you see fit. But the idea is that not only will you have practice building what we're going to build together, but along the way, you'll also experiment building something out on your own. So go ahead and go through these steps with the site that we're going to build, as well as a separate one that you're going to set up. You can name it how you like. Again, try to think around a personal site or a project that you already have in the works. And then in the next lesson, we're going to actually start jumping into the code and seeing what we really need to get up and running with our theme.